Hi, my name's Ken. I'm with Meteor Inkjet. In this video tutorial, I'll be talking about color management, what it is, and a little bit about how it works. Let's start this off by talking about what is color management. Well, I think in its simplest form, the process of using tools to make color look correct. And to look correct on a wide variety of devices. All different kinds of printers. They could be inkjet printers or copiers or just all different kinds of things. And not just printers, but also monitors. Anything that we can view color on, we want it to look correct. Using color management allows us to calibrate and verify all these different types of devices to not only provide correct color, but consistent color, no matter what device and no matter where it is. It could be a monitor in Australia, a copier in Tokyo, an offset press in Brazil, a large format inkjet in Chicago, or even a little desktop printer in London. We want all of them to look correct and consistent, no matter where they are, no matter what device. So the next thing to consider is exactly what is correct and who defines this? Well, correct means accurate in reference to a worldwide industry standard. Take a look at those three images. They're all the same image, but they all look a little bit different. If you were to look at any one of those isolated, you'd just think, gee, that's a pretty picture of a bunch of flowers. But when you put them next to each other, you can see some differences. And we need to know which one of those is correct. Maybe none of them are. Using industry standards will help us to determine what correct really means. In case you're wondering, it's the one on the right. So now we'll spend a few minutes talking about color standards. They are defined and maintained by several organizations. And I picked three to talk about in this introduction to color management. One of them for print, one for monitors, and a third one for calibration standards. So for print, the one I chose is actually what I think is probably the most common these days, and it's called GRACL, short for graphic color. And a group called Idealliance maintain that GRACL standard, and that's for print. All different kinds of print. Can be offset, can be digital, inkjet or toner, anything that we print. The next one from a group called ANSI, American National Standards Institute, they maintain a standard called sRGB, and that's what's used for monitors. And then the third one we'll talk about comes from a group called International Color Consortium. And the acronym for that is ICC, and that's where we get the name ICC Profile. So they maintain the standards for ICC profiling. So now we can get down to the business of performing color management for a printer. So how do we do this? Well, the first thing we do is we use a color measurement device called a spectrophotometer. There's a picture of one of those in the upper right hand corner of this slide. That's an X-Rite i1 Pro. And we use the Spectro, the i1 Pro, together with ICC profiling software to calibrate our printer to a standard. And the way we accomplish that is basically three steps. Number one, we print a test chart, and that test chart will show how your printer actually reproduces color. And the next step is we take measurements of that chart and compare it to a known standard such as GRACL, the one that I mentioned in the previous slide. And then after we have that information, what we do is use the color management software, the ICC profiling software, to create a correction file to make your printer look like a Grackle calibrated printer. And that file is known as an ICC profile. What you're looking at here on the right, in the top right, is the ICC profiling chart printed on a Grackle calibrated printer. So that's what it should look like. And the image below it, the color is reproduced correctly. The flower in the middle is that nice medium blue, and the one in the lower right is yellow, as it should be. But if we take a look on the left, this is our printer before calibration, and you'll notice that the chart doesn't look quite the same. The cyan looks a little turquoise, and in fact, that flower that should be blue in the middle there, it does look a little turquoise. And the flower that's supposed to be yellow is coming out pretty orange. So that's not how it should be. But what happens is the ICC profile makes a comparison between these two. It knows what it should look like and knows how your printer is actually printing and uses that information to make corrections. And now we get to the final step in pulling all this together to have a calibrated, correct, accurate color printer. We need to make use of the ICC output profile in our RIP. In Meteor's eLab Pro RIP, that's pretty easy. What we do in the Color Manager section is we can select a ICC CMYK input profile and an RGB input profile. The input profiles basically is how the RIP knows what you want color to look like. That's your goal. We want it to look like this, and the output profile tells the RIP this is what our printer actually behaves like. And the ColorPRA package in the eLab RIP uses that information to make the corrections and ends up giving you that beautiful looking accurate color. Well, now we can spend a couple of minutes talking about the hardware and software tools that we need to perform color management. Meteor have partnered with ColorLogic, a company in Germany. They make color management software packages, and they've been doing this a long time. They're an industry leader, expert in their field. They've got offices in Germany and Florida, and the packages that they offer are ColorAnt, which is used to prepare and measure the color profiling charts, and then another package called CoPrA, which is used to create the ICC profiles, and then finally a server-based automated color management solution that is popular for use in companies where they have lots of different kinds of printers, maybe in one location or even in several locations. The ColorAnt and CoPrA packages are sold together as one package called CoPrA-M. So CoPrA-M includes ColorAnt and CoPrA, and if you use that together with a spectrophotometer like an I1, that will provide you with everything that you need to do what I've described in this video.